Amethyst Campbell was in this daycare building when she says she heard around 6 popping noises go off at 6:45 this morning. She says the noises couldn't have been more than a few feet away. And let me just show you how close this daycare building is to W.C. Handy School. This right here, that's the school, and she says there were students waiting all along this corner this morning, waiting for the bus to pick them up. A shooting occurred in the parking lot of the Florence Police Department that left one person dead. All we know so far is that a suspect showed up to the police department and threatened to shoot the place up. Then they began shooting, and officers returned fire, killing them. Florence police officer Joshua Mesa says thieves normally tend to see if your door is already unlocked. That way they can sift through what's inside and take what they want. There was a lot of talk from viewers and even officials here about how it might not snow. So let me show you. Look at that. Look at it. It's snow. A tornado swept through with winds of a little over 100 miles per hour and caused damage that looks a lot like this all over. They tried to stow away with stolen copper pipes on a boat. And while the suspects didn't get away, the copper did.
14 of the people killed in the crash were coming back from an ice skating camp, shaking the tight-knit figure skating community to its core. WAFF 48's Aria Pons spoke to a local retired professional figure skater who's remembering the 2 victims he personally knew.
To Wesley Campbell, professional ice skating is more than just a sport. It's a community, and that community has been overturned with the loss of so many after an American Airlines plane crashed into a Black Hawk helicopter on Wednesday.
Everyone feels it from the human standpoint, but here we're just we're trying to keep on keeping on and to honor them by moving forward.
Now, every time Wesley Campbell laces up his skates and heads out on the ice, he'll be honoring and remembering those he knew and those he didn't.
I'm feeling unbelievable sadness for the families, for the community.
Campbell settled down right here in Huntsville, where he coaches and manages at the Huntsville Ice Sports Center. However, Campbell grew up in the skating community, trained in Boston, and even attended the figure skating development camp that the 14 skaters who tragically died were coming back from.
To remember what it was like to be there and to have my parents there and for the parents to be excited. So it's just that you really know, you can sense the excitement of having been at nationals, and then just kind of like 1 second you're here and the next second you're not.
Campbell says he knew the Russian figure skating pair and coaches, Yevgenia Shishkova and Vadim Namov, who were also on the flight. He says they were wonderful people and loved what they did.
It's painful. Everyone's hurting. Everyone can feel it. Just we start to realize how valuable every moment is, and to just appreciate it as precious, and to mourn and grieve appropriately, but also to enjoy our lives while they're happening, because it is truly precious.
Campbell says it's important to remember in these moments, it's not just about the sport, it's about the community. Reporting in Huntsville, Aria Pons, 48 on your side.
A former Lauderdale County detention worker is accused of stealing money right from inmates. Officials say over 9 months, Chantel Brown allegedly stole nearly $14,000. WAFF 48's Aria Pons is live in Lauderdale County tonight, and Aria Brown is facing dozens of counts.
Yes, Margot, the Lauderdale County District Attorney says that 60 of those counts are for computer tampering, saying Chantel Brown allegedly used a work-issued computer to steal the money, and then there's 1 count of theft of property for the money she stole.
It's very disappointing, that she chose to do what she did.
I'm disappointed in her. I knew her, and, thought the world of her.
Chantel Brown was arrested and is accused of stealing over $14,000 from inmates. Brown worked under former Sheriff Rick Singleton as the Lauderdale County Detention Center's administrative assistant.
He's another example of somebody who made a bad choice, and unfortunately it just seems like that's happening too much these days.
One of Brown's responsibilities was keeping up with inmate funds through Turnkey Correctional Banking System, a bank used by the inmates. When inmates go in with cash on them, it gets put into that system to be returned to them on a debit card when they're released.
She was set up to refund inmate money to inmates. Instead of refunding that money to the inmates, she manipulated the system and generated debit cards that she then used at banks to get money for herself.
District Attorney Chris Connolly says she allegedly stole money from 60 inmates in a 9-month period by checking which inmates didn't take their money when they left. Connolly says it came to their attention when an inmate came back to collect his money and it wasn't there. Singleton says each employee is vetted by the sheriff's office before being hired. While a background check can show you the past, it can't show you the future.
People tend to forget that law enforcement officers, corrections officers, they're human beings. And it'd be nice if we had a crystal ball where we could see what's going through somebody's head and what they're capable of doing, but unfortunately we don't have that ability. And you look at what they've done in their past, you can't look to see what they're going to do in their future.
Brown was released on an $180,000 bond. She's set to be back in court in the next few months for an arraignment. As we continue to learn more about this case, we will keep you updated. Reporting live in Lauderdale County, Aria Pons, 48 on your side.
Florence police officer is seeing a rise in car-related thefts just a month into the new year. WAFO 48's Aria Pons shows how officers are trying to be proactive ahead of any more thefts.
Florence police officer Joshua Mesa says thieves normally tend to see if your door is already unlocked. That way they can sift through what's inside and take what they want.
It does make me a little uneasy since this is supposed to be a pretty safe area.
In the last month, Mesa says there have been 18 reports of people stealing from parked cars and 5 cars reported stolen. He says it's normal for more break-ins to happen in the winter when the sun goes down earlier. He says there have been a wide range of items stolen.
It's anything from some spare change and and a cup holder to a firearm, just anything between that they might see a value. So it's important to lock up your valuables, especially firearms or anything that could be a danger to the public that gets in the wrong hands.
Michaela Binford says her car was broken into just last week, but thankfully nothing was taken.
I went to open the door and the door was already open for me. That was nice of them. And yeah, I got in and just my center console was up. Everything was out of it, strewn everywhere.
She says she specifically removes all valuables from the car at night for that exact reason. With this uptake in break-ins and thefts, officers want you to be proactive. Mesa says officers are pushing the 9 p.m. routine.
Lock it, hide it, and light it, and lock your valuables in your car or take them inside with you. Hide it. If there's something that needs to stay in your car, you need to hide it and make sure your vehicle's locked, and then light it. Use your exterior lights.
If you're watching this, you should probably go check to see if your car is locked. Reporting in Florence, Aria Pons, 48 on your side. You're wrapping up some holiday shopping this weekend. I get it. I hear you. You are not alone. Stores this time of year are packed, and it's this season that small businesses look forward to all year. The Alabama Retail Association says holiday spending is expected to match last year's $18.5 billion. Multiple sources have confirmed to 48 News a Huntsville police officer is suspended and the status of another officer is unclear. We're told that 2 high-ranking officers are under investigation that centers on one case with several incidents.
I feel like we've missed out on the sunrises recently. We've had a lot of fog, some messy weather, but today is the exception.
And it's gorgeous, and it matches the orange on your earrings for Cinco de Mayo.
Matches my little outfit today, if y'all notice. Thanks for noticing, Aria.
Absolutely, always. And Cinco de Mayo, what are your plans?
Oh, we got to put a little salt on that rim and have a margarita. And it would be great. Like they always say, like a margarita by the sunset, but why not with the sunrise?
A Coleman man is heading to jail after leading police on a high-speed chase that ended with spike strips and a wrecked SUV. Coleman police say Dustin Allred was the man behind the wheel, leading them on a high-speed chase on I-65 before crashing his Chevy Trailblazer into some trees. And in Birmingham, one woman says the city has seen far too much violence recently. Now she's looking to change the narrative by highlighting the positive side of her community through the ROC program. Organizer Sharita Clark Wilson explains ROC stands for Refreshing Our Communities. The organization held a free event on Saturday with the hope of kids walking away with conflict resolution skills, knowledge on how to buy a home or start a business, and information on both mental and physical health. Jeff, what's that going to look for people wanting to go out, see the fireworks? Are fireworks safe right now in the drought time?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I know there's some of them taking place. The Pandas are doing them, this weekend. They're going to have fireworks shows. I'd be very careful with fire right now. And also keep the radar on your app.